Okay, Mormons, this is Travis Wayne Goodsill yet again, still pushing and pushing on you to break you down. And if you're going to continue to resist and harden your heart, that's going to be to your detriment. You know this from the Book of Mormon if you actually did your research and applied it, as you constantly say in your prayers. We hope that we apply the information that we learned today, and blah, blah, blah. So you guys, you know the information, but you're just not putting two and two together. So this time, it's chapter 2 of the brass plates. And again, I'm going to remind you, if this is your first time to my site, and you've chosen this one to first come to, or YouTube only presents this one for you, because they shadow ban me. Yeah. Case in point, Mormons, you believe that the church is true. There's no denying that. You all know that that's what you believe. You've never done your research. You've never studied. You've never researched history of the church. And so you therefore automatically believe whatever you're told, and you don't challenge or question it. And the church threatens you, saying, don't challenge or question us. We're your leaders. We speak for God. That's your first clue that they're not. Nevertheless, you still believe it. And so, therefore, you believe that there will come the brass plates. And you will have access to it. And you will be able to read it. Because Lehi gave the prophecy in the Book of Mormon in 1 Nephi that the brass plates will go throughout all the world. Brass plates. Not the Bible, not the Book of Mormon, the brass plates. And so you're waiting for the brass plates. And many of you are waiting for the sealed portion. And apparently, is it Denver Snuffer who claimed to have found the sealed portion, and they made a translation of it and fooled some people? Or is it a different guy? I think it's Denver Snuffer. And so, yeah, I found the site, and it was a free download, and looked over it. Yeah, it's hilarious. He tries to stick to the lingo of the Book of Mormon, but throws in some other stuff. But yeah, it's amusing, and I'm not sure how he's able to get a couple thousand people to follow him, but it amazes me why Mormons are so dumb that they stick in something that is so obviously, blatantly wrong. If you just simply do your research. I can understand if you don't do your research and you remain ignorant, you know, that you'll never know the truth, because you'll continue to believe whatever you want to believe. But for a church that says that you need to do your own efforts to learn the truth, gain intelligence, to have a majority of the membership not doing that, that's just bizarre. So anyway, you are waiting for the president of the church, whoever he will be in the future, because that's what you always do. You always push it off to the next guy, and to the next guy, and to the next guy, generation after generation. I've talked with a patriarch who's, you know, in his twilight years, and he says, oh yeah, everybody thought that that day was the end of the world, and now we're having it again. It's just going to be the same. No, It's not going to be the same. All the signs have occurred. If you guys had done your research, you'd know. This is it. So guess what? The brass plates should be coming out. This is the time. Because look at Ezekiel 37 again. What is the context that's going on there? You have the stick of Joseph, stick of Judah, they're going to be one, and there's the coming of the kingdom of David restored on the earth. And you Mormons believe that that is you guys. But yet, nothing. You know, the church leaders are even saying that all the prophecies of the latter days are just predictions of man. They don't believe it, and they're making sure that you guys don't believe it. They're not talking about it. They're not discussing it. They're covering up the truth, because the truth will expose them and exploit them for being illegitimate. That you guys are waiting for the president of the church to do it. So when somebody else comes along who claims to have scripture, Mormons are actually following them. And there are people who actually believe it and believe that the church leaders had gone astray. That's interesting, because when Joseph Smith died, I think his name was James Strang, or Strange, and he formed the Strangeites or Strangites, and he claimed to have found buried scripture plates, just like Joseph Smith, and claimed to have made a translation of them, and Mormons who they joined his group, and some high-ranking Mormons joined the group, and so there is an interest, and so you guys know that not a single president of the church have fulfilled Joseph Smith's prophecy that other scriptures would come forth. You guys do know that, don't you? Scriptures to come forth. You know, it's not just limited to what Joseph Smith did, and no more, that's it, sorry. No, there's other scriptures to come forth. The brass plates, the stick of Joseph and Judah, united into one, correcting the book of Judah, the Torah. And so, you guys know this. And so, yet where is it? Not a single prophet has ever come out with a revelation or a translation of an ancient document. None. It's like, we're not interested. Wait a minute, aren't you guys translators? But listen to Conference. They remove translator from the list of who they are now. They only say to sustain the prophets as prophets, seers, revelators. That's it. Prophets, seers, and revelators. Not translators. But they're supposed to have the key of translation, ancient documents. And we can go to the Book of Mormon if you've forgotten about Ammon discussing with, I believe it was Limhi, concerning the seer and what he was capable of doing. Mosiah chapter 8. Okay. And I was just calling him the king. Where is it? Come on, give it to me, baby. And they're not. Alright, so I'd have to expand to the broader context. But in 14, and behold, the king of the people who are in the land of Zarahemla is the man that is commanded to do these things, and who has this high gift from God? And the king said that a seer is greater than a prophet. And Ammon said that a seer is a revelator and a prophet also. And a gift which is greater can no man have, except he should possess the power of God. Did you catch that? A seer is the greatest gift other than possessing the power of God, which seer is a power of God, but nevertheless, which no man can. Yet a man may have great power given him from God, but a seer can know of things which are past, and also things which are to come, and by them shall all things be revealed, or rather shall secret things be made manifest, and hidden things shall come to light, and things which are not known shall be made known by them. Did you catch that? It is their job to reveal things to us in General Conference. It is their job to reveal the new scriptures that are coming forth. They're not. The Gnostic scriptures, nah, they're not even touching it. They don't care. Some of the other scriptures, nah, they don't care. Not interested. What about Egyptian documents? After Joseph Smith, tons of documents have been obtained and published and presented to the world. Why hasn't the church adopted them as scripture? Remember, Joseph Smith obtained papyri. He said that the Egyptian writing is scripture, and we've made it scripture. It's canon, the Book of Abraham. We didn't get it completely translated. So why haven't the prophets finished the translation? They have the gift. Why didn't they finish it? Why didn't they take on the work that Joseph ended because of his murder and finish the work? The answer is simple, and you guys are not willing to confront it. And so this was intended to be book 2, so it's not. It's just going to be another chastisement video. I'll get to book 2 in the next one then. And so, yeah, what are they talking about? It's about translation of records. And in 13, going back a bit, and now Alma said unto him, I can assuredly tell thee, O king, of a man that can, who can translate the records, for he has wherewith that he can look. The Urim and Thummim is what he's referring to. But if you've supposedly got this seer power, you don't need interpreters or the Urim and Thummim. Nevertheless, this is before Joseph had to figure everything out. But we'll just let it go as is so that you can maintain your belief system and not get upset over a disagreement over a little insignificant thing. The point is, the presidents of the church are supposed to be capable of translating. They have Joseph's seer stone. Where are the scriptures? Where's the finishing of the book of Abraham? Where's the finishing of the book of Joseph? We got them back. We have them. Do I need to show them to you? I've got a copy of them. Anybody can obtain a copy of them. The Joseph Smith papers are printing the copies of them. We can all see them. We can all look at them. So why aren't the presidents of the church translating them, making them scripture for the church? Well, I know the answer, but you guys got to come to know the answer. You've got to let go of your ignorance. Translate all records that are of ancient date, and it is a gift from God that this leader, president of the church, has. No man can look in them except he be commanded. So again, they're trying to establish only the president of the church can translate ancient records. See, section 43, Joseph Smith had to deal with this because other people were looking into a hat and coming up with their own revelations. And Joseph Smith said, no, okay, no, we need to stop this right now. Only me. And whosoever is commanded to look in them, the same is called seer. Remember, the president and all the apostles all are called seers, which means any one of them, not just the president of the church, can use Joseph Smith's rocks to translate the ancient Egyptian documents. So why aren't they? Why are they bothering to listen to John Gee at BYU? Or some of the new guys that are coming in, perpetuating the same old idiocy? Why? See, I know the answer. You need to know the answer. I'm hoping logic will win out here. You need to understand. We have the scriptures in our midst, but the presidents of the church are not translating them for us. They're not doing it. Nobody's doing it. And now the church has officially come out in the gospel topic essays, which was actually John Gee doing it for them, and they just said, okay, yeah, whatever, great, we'll accept it. In Historicity and Translation of the Book of Abraham, gospel topic essays, this is official church doctrine for the members of the church. You should know this. They throw Joseph Smith under the bus. They say, nope, it's not a translation, and all Egyptologists agree. Whoa. Okay. You just lost millions of members of the church by putting that out, because millions have left because of that. If Joseph Smith didn't translate scripture, then I don't want anything to do with this church. So that's why people went after Denver Snuffer. He claimed to be a translator. Oh, well, he's got the gift, obviously. I'll follow him. And the strange or Strang guy, whatever, you know, I'll follow him. He seems to have the gift. So what about me? Are you not paying attention? I have made discoveries with Paleo-Hebrew, with Egyptian. Discoveries, scientific discoveries. I'm not making any of this up. I show my work. Because how do you do decipherment? I show my work. Hold on, well, let me pause. Okay, this is the Amazon's new policy of giving me not for sale copies for my own personal use. This just a sample page. This is how I do it. Do you recognize the letter? Of course not. You don't do your research in it. See? 3 pages for 1 letter. This is the index. The main book was too big, according to Amazon standards, and had to put the index in a separate book. So yes, it's not that thick. It had to be big enough for a publication, but yeah, that's and see what I'm doing is I'm listing the Paleo-Greek equivalent, new name and phoneme, etymology, Babylonian influence, the etymological meaning, the Greek meaning, Chinese meaning. Wow, see? This is how you do scientific research. You don't say, well, I'm not going to go that way. I'll just stick with what I've got. No, you look at everything involved. Traditional meaning, numeric value, Egyptological sign and meaning. I know how to do scientific research. I've made discoveries. I've deciphered the ancient languages. I'm not the president of the church. I've then taken what I learned from Paleo-Hebrew and grew a vineyard which expanded into Egyptian. I made discoveries in Egyptian. As a result, I now know you have to translate the pictures that accompany the text in Egyptian documents. Egyptologists say, no, we're not going to worry about that. We got the text. We know how to translate the text. They're not translating everything there is to be translated, and thus they're missing out on what's going on. I've made that discovery. And after I made that discovery, then guess what? I recognized similarities to biblical passages, biblical stories in Genesis. See, others who study Assyriology, they've already identified the book of Esther as having the names Ishtar and Marduk, Esther and Mordecai, but they haven't gone as far as I have with the Genesis stories. So yes, I can go in and identify that the book of Esther is simply a Babylonian influence document about the two main gods of the Assyrians, Babylonians. That's how we got the book of Esther, because the Jews were in captivity in Babylon. They adopted and conformed to their culture, their influence, their religion, their scripture, their calendars, their language, and they brought it all back with them under the return. And so the Bible that we have today is a mixture of Egyptian records and Babylonian records. That's the difference. The documentary hypothesis is a big joke. It is two books with a redactor. Egyptian documents, Babylonian documents, and a redactor trying to merge them all together into one narrative. That's me. I made that discovery. I'm not the president of the church. I did it. I translated ancient records, all records that are of an ancient date. And the Book of Mormon says it's a gift from God that only the president of the church is supposed to have. So then you're going to say, well, yeah, that means that all your work is wrong, Travis. Oh, test me on it. Prove me now herewith. Recognize that passage? I challenge anyone. I defy anyone to prove me wrong. And nobody can do it, first, because nobody's done their study and research, and so you'd have to start now. And you'd have to learn how to do it before you can actually begin. But that doesn't matter. I'm sure there must be somebody out there who knows how to do it and check my work. But nobody does. Because they've already got their own opinion. See, the Book of Mormon says that this person is a seer. And so, yes, I am calling out the presidents of the church as false prophets, false seers, false revelators, false translators. They've got no fruit. And so I know them by their lack of fruit. You understand what that means? The scripture says, by their fruits ye shall know them, whether they be good or evil. So if you produce bitter fruit, that means it's a bitter seed, and that symbolizes or is a metaphor for a bad, corrupt person. If it's good fruit that nourishes your body and strengthens you and has you last until the next time you have to take a bite of food, then you know that the person is good in the metaphoric sense. But like the fig tree that Jesus destroyed because it bore no fruit, that's what we're dealing with. Since Brigham Young, none of the presidents of the church have borne fruit. They've been a dead fig tree all these generations, all these decades. Yet Mormons still look to the fig tree that is barren and hope that it'll magically produce fruit one day. It's already dead. Why are you still clinging on to something dead? Because all it's good for now is for kindling. I'm giving you an option. I don't really want to be a leader. In fact, my idea is to have a law of Mosiah, a constitutional republic, which means a constitution will lead the people. I don't want leadership. But I know I've got this gift. I am a seer. I am able to translate records of an ancient date. So, what's it going to be, Mormons? Are you going to continue to sit in church week after week, listening to people ramble off, and then, like a robot, go home afterward, only to come back the next week, over and over like a robot, just like the Zoramites did with the Rameumptum? What's it going to take? Do you want to live, or do you want to sit by a dead tree and not get enlightened? See, now, starting January, you're not going to be studying the scriptures anymore. Nelson has said, we're doing away with Sunday school. So they don't need to make church-approved materials anymore, because nobody's studying the scriptures anymore. How convenient. He's dumbing you down. But that's what happens with a dead tree. It deadens you too, just like weeds. They choke the wheat. And so the wheat doesn't produce the fruit either, even though it has the correct seed that could have produced the fruit. But the weeds choke it to death. That's why you need to leave the church. Get away from them. I'm giving you an alternative. That's why I'm doing the brass plates, as I'm calling it. You know, I tried calling it the Lost Book of Joseph, but nobody was interested in that title. And I've tried to do just a regular collection of Egyptian scriptures book. Nobody's interested in that either. So what's it going to take, Mormons? Whose side are you on? Because a dead tree is not on the side of God. The one who produces fruit, he's the one of God. He's got the gift. He's a seer. Who are you going to follow? I've destroyed the church on all different ways. But Mormons refuse to look and learn and believe. You choose death over life. And that just doesn't make sense to me. So choose ye this day. This is already too long, so you've probably lost interest by now. Yes, I'm going to continue to insult you until you choose the right. Because people who don't choose the right are worthy of insult. So yeah, you can put a thumbs down, like the typical Mormon does. He specifically finds things to insult or to put a thumbs down on. He never listens to what I have to say. It's just the title that he's offended by. So, yeah. That's the Mormons. Ignorant. So, what's it going to be? Choose ye this day whom ye will serve. The presidents of the church have no fruit. And it's just getting worse in the church, but you're not seeing it. You think that what Nelson has done since taking office is a good thing. Because you've got the wrong preconditioned beliefs. When the evidence is staring you in the face. So decide. Make the choice. Be complicit with evil or break from it. I can lead you to the right path. I already told you, I don't want to be the leader, but I will lead you in the right path. I will teach you how to learn, how to study, how to connect with God. I can give you the restored translation of the Torah, the book of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, the books of Moses. I can do that. But I can't do it if nobody's wanting to have it done. And you may think you're clever and saying, oh, see, you've got no power. It's not about controlling your agency. You have to give your agency to the truth. And you are choosing your agency to follow a false prophet, a false church. You're the ones to blame. So I don't want this to go on for an hour. So I'm cutting it off here. So make your decision, Mormons. Don't hide in fear. Make your choice. Choose the right. Remember?